Hello and welcome to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Make sure you find the Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe and rate and review the show. Reminder, we're streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and airing live on Sportsnet 360 Monday to Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. I'm your host, Wayne Liu. I'm joined by producer and co-host Alex Wong. What's going on, man? The Raptors playing your favorite, Kawhi.
Oh, yeah, my
tonight.
fave. My co-fave, Kawhi and Kevin Durant. Those are my two faves in the league right now. Do you have a fave? Like, is there a guy where you're like,
player?
Where you're like, yo, I want to watch this. Like, I need to watch this team. I need to watch this guy right now.
I have 17 favorite players, and they're all in the Raptors.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with this season.
My favorite player is Ron Harper Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, listen, I'm past the point of fandom for the rest of the league. I just appreciate basketball, but no, I don't like specifically root for any specific guys unless they're on the Raptors. So.
Yeah, I was I was reading this article this morning from friend of the program, Michael Grange.
Oh, I saw this too, man. This
who
was
compiled
tough.
The 5 bad beats.
You know,
he could have just listened to the Raptors show and pulled that from us, because I feel like we've done that a few times.
I don't think. First off, I don't think I've ever seen Grange write a listicle. Like, you know what I mean? Grange is not writing 5 things, 10 things, from the Raptors.
And listen, Grange does great reporting, especially when he's on the road.
Exactly.
Great profile stories, right? Like insider, like interviews, sit downs.
Yeah,
with guys.
but I'd like to think that something inside of Grange snapped.
He's broken.
Yeah. He's right now in Denver right now in that one suitcase of his.
Yeah.
Going through this whole road trip, packing the shoes with the clothes, which is just a complete no-no.
Yeah.
Without a bag, at least for the shoes.
Yeah. He needs to buy a dishwasher like Oren White. Dishwasher. No, a laundry. A dishwasher. Wait, did he get a dishwasher? He did, right?
He got a dishwasher.
Okay, a dishwasher. Okay, I got it confused. Shouts to Oren Weisfeld.
Shouts to Oren Weisfeld.
Energy
a
is
very
different.
random 10-minute interview yesterday, but
Energy is different.
Did amazing as always.
Yeah, no, but Grange is on the road.
I think Grange actually snapped watching that game in Denver.
Grange, if you're listening, let us know if you've snapped.
Their names are. Yeah, also let us know if you've watched the one suitcase.
Yeah, their names are. Well, there's only one name. Did you guys point out yesterday that Tim Donaghy and Scott Foster talked like 134 times?
Oh, brother, here we go again.
What?
No, I mean, it's just
Should that not be pointed out?
What does that mean, though? Like,
I don't know.
Does it mean that he was guilty as well?
I mean, I don't think it means nothing. That's a lot of calls, man.
That's a lot of calls, man. But
anyways, when is Scott Foster reffing a Raptors game again? Because that's going to be great theater. Can't wait for that one.
I mean, yeah.
Anyways,
for me, I'm just like, look, listen, the Raptors got to close out games better. Like, we ran out of time with this at the end of the show, so I just kind of like snuck it in there because our interview with Oren was so good that we left a little bit too much time at the end.
Yeah.
But like, yo, the Raptors have blown out of their last 10 losses. 3 of them have been blowouts. The other 7, they've had significant fourth quarter leads, ranging from like, whatever, right? But double-digit leads in most of those games.
Yeah.
And they've like lost all those fourth quarters by like somewhere between 10 and 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's on the Raptors themselves, in addition to the officials, to like, just close out much stronger. So, I mean, I definitely didn't like the decisions that went the Raptors' way or went the Nuggets' way. I thought a lot of those were touch fouls, but I think ultimately the bigger pattern is that the Raptors don't close out strong.
Yeah,
like even if they win games, they survive at the end. Like they survived against the Pistons twice. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
and Washington had to go to overtime.
Also, what's up with these new glasses, man? This guy looking like where's Waldo with these? Oh wow, okay, all right.
Look like Toto from Formula One. From all my F1 fans.
Okay.
Yeah, from the Sportsnet stats and info department, you were talking about just the Raptors struggling down the stretch. And I know like Pascal's been struggling a little bit. I know you guys talked about that a little yesterday. Interesting stat, like the last 4 games in the second half, Pascal has only gone to the free throw line twice. And he's shooting 29% from the field.
Yeah, that sounds
in
about
the
right.
second half.
Yeah, no, he's been struggling. So we do definitely need that back. I think, look, let's be honest, like closing out a game strong, especially at this point in the season when like most teams I'm starting to see are either taking it very seriously in terms of trying to win or trying to take it very seriously like I'm going to shut down Bojan Bogdanovic for the rest of the season like the Pistons are. You know what I mean? Like they're choosing their direction right now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the Raptors are trying to continue to win and make their way up the standings, kind of hit or miss, but, they are kind of doing it still. And yeah, and when you got to close out strong, like you need your best players to be your best players in the fourth quarter. Like there's just no ways around that, right? We know how a lot of fourth quarters are decided, a lot of overtimes are decided. Put the ball in your best players' hands and you let them cook. And right now they're not cooking much.
No, not at all. The kitchen is closed. So
Mm.
the Raptors, like you mentioned, continuing their 5-game road trip tonight in
Yes.
LA against the Clippers. Do you remember the first time we played the Clippers this season when Kawhi just jogged his way
Yeah,
into a victory?
that was tough. The Raptors didn't have any centers at that time, so Zubac really hurt the Raptors.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But that game was very frustrating. I thought the Raptors just like played from behind the whole time. They had no chance of winning that one. And then what was the most frustrating, you and I watching that game in the booth, was seeing the number of times where Kawhi would get out in the fast break, like he would steal a ball or something, or the Raptors would miss a shot and a long rebound, and the Clippers are breaking, and Kawhi would just like slow himself down. You know, what I mean, he's like, you know what, I'm trying too hard for this game.
Yeah, he turned the car off.
And no, he just yeah, I mean, he didn't even play well, but he still had a great game, which is just the mark of a great player. I miss that man so much, man.
Yeah, so Clippers are 8th in the West right now. They just
okay.
snapped a 5-game losing streak with a fourth quarter comeback against Memphis
Saw that.
over the weekend. And, you know, as we've talked about throughout the season, the standings in the West are very bunched up. 5th through 13th are separated by 3 games right now. So with the fact the Raptors taking on the Clippers tonight, I thought we could go through some of the teams in the West and figure out which teams are contenders, which teams are pretenders.
Right, because you could genuinely argue that for most of the teams out there.
Yeah. Why don't we start with the Clippers then, since they are playing tonight?
Okay, so I think the Clippers are for sure contenders. I really don't actually see them as a pretender status. I think that they are in this period right now where they're working 3 new players into their rotation, and they've had some close losses. That Kings one obviously was, I mean, they should have won that game, and then they just turned the ball over like 5 times in a row for no reason. But they're trying to work Russell Westbrook into the lineup. Obviously, that's going to be a very big disruption. They're working the Plum God. I'm sure JR is going to have a great time tonight watching the Plum God.
Yeah, the plum sauce.
Eric Gordon's there now, too. He's been freed.
Oh, yeah, that's my guy.
He's just shooting 30-foot
This guy got
three-pointers.
freed to the Clippers, and then they immediately lost like 5 in a row once he joined them.
Yeah, you know.
He might have the worst personal record in the league right now.
It is tough. It is tough. But no, I mean, I think that there's going to be some disruptions, but that team is pretty solid, man. They're not missing that much, I would say. And I think the scary thing with the Clippers, and we'll probably see it tonight, is when they go to moments where they play small ball and they have, you know, let's say it's like Kawhi and Paul George and, you know, it's whoever else you want to put out there, Nick Batum for more defense and corner 3-point shooting, or Eric Gordon for more spacing, or even Westbrook with that group. I know it doesn't sound that great, but at the same time, when you put it all together and had to play them, it's very, very tough. Like, they can really all guard you one-on-one. And even though they don't have rim protection, you get so spaced out trying to guard that team. So I thought that was the biggest thing, where when they won against Memphis, they were losing for a lot of that game. But they went to that look in the fourth quarter, and it was a reminder of like, okay, when they get into the playoffs, that's a look that they can use against a lot of the teams. Like, they could use that against Sacramento, I think. They can use that against Golden State. Denver, probably not as much. I just really do think that, you know, you do need a big on the floor to at least deal with Jokic. But no, the Clippers are for real for me. But of course, they're also, it's funny because you look at their standings and they're like roughly 500.
Yeah, they pretty much have
So
the
you
same record as the Raptors.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. What have you seen from the Clippers this year? The other concern I have with the Clippers, just real quickly, is obviously Kawhi is his own world, but I do think that like the rest of the team needs to have great chemistry around Kawhi.
Sure.
Because that's what worked for the Raptors in 2019. And even to, the last time Kawhi won, before that, obviously, was 2014 with the Spurs. That was the ultimate team of, like, everybody worked so well together. And Kawhi wasn't, like, the dominant superstar he was at that time. But, you know what I mean? Like, I think Kawhi has always won when the rest of the team has great chemistry around him. And I still don't fully see that with the Clippers. That's the one area I'd be concerned about. But I suppose you have, like, a month to rectify that.
yeah, that's my biggest, I guess, case against this team is just the continuity. And like you talked about the chemistry, and you watch a game like them against the Sacramento Kings and how they blew those leads down the stretch and ended up losing in overtime. And we've seen that happen on several occasions. Like, is that just a matter of looking at it as a function of just, within the scope of that game, or does it speak to like a bigger problem? Because like if teams aren't together, or if you don't have these lineups and players that are familiar with each other, like those things are going to happen down the stretch, right?
Yeah,
so like for me,
sure.
it's like they've treated these. I mean, when Kawhi was here, they treated the regular season like 82 practices, and it did work out. And I think it speaks to what you were saying about having the right players around Kawhi, and to be honest, just having just a better supporting cast than what they've put around Kawhi, during his 4 years with the Clippers. Like they still have questions about their point guard position. I think there's still questions about like who their starting lineup should be. I know the small ball lineup is good, but I think the argument against the Clippers will have to be like, are you able to just have this kind of jumbled, kind of scrambled together 82 game schedule and then expect to go into the playoffs and be able to win 4 rounds, which is what they're trying to do.
No, for sure. I don't know if they can win like the full 4 rounds. I think it'll probably come down to matchups for them. But I mean, at the same time, like, it's a little understated because Kawhi obviously is still on the load management plan. But when you're thinking back to basically from the start of the year, Kawhi has sat 4 times, all those on the second night of back-to-backs, right? Which was standard. Like that's what he was doing in Toronto as well, right? He sat 4 times. He's played 22 games in that stretch. He's averaging 28 points per game on 53% shooting, 50% shooting from 3, and he's shooting 92% from the free throw line. This guy's genuinely a cyborg, as we all know here in Toronto. And so he's going to be good enough to win you so many games on his own. But I do think that, like, the rest of the team needs to figure it out. And the Clippers do have a very interesting team because they have lots of good players that they don't even play on a consistent basis. Like their depth is really great, but at the same time, I'm looking at them like, okay, who are you going to roll with? Like, who's your 8-9 man rotation? And if Ty Lue can just stick to that and go forward with it, that's going to really help. Obviously, in his defense, he's had to make more additions to the roster with the recent buyout guys that they've had, or even the trade deadline sort of moves. But once he sticks with that and rolls with it, we'll see if there's a chemistry there. But I do believe that everyone on the Clippers actually just wants to win. They're all guys in their career where, they have either won before or they're trying to finally get over the top.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure for them coming into this playoffs. Like it's been year 4 now, right? Of this Kawhi PG thing, and there was much hyped, talked about and all this stuff, and the trade that they made to get Paul George and giving up all the assets, including sending Shea to OKC. To me, that's one of those trades where if you win a championship, then it doesn't matter what those draft picks and what Shea turns into. It's kind of like
Brian Windhorst.
No, but it's true.
This guy listened to that straight from the Hoop Collective.
No, but it's kind of
winning a championship means never having to say sorry.
I've been behind on the Hoop Collective because I've been deep in the this league uncut, which is emerging as my new fave now. Man. But shouts to Pound the Rock as well. But like that's one of those trades, kind of like the Kevin Durant Phoenix one too. Like if they win a championship in this Kawhi Paul George era, then whatever. Then I think the trade was worth it. But if they don't, then it's a disaster. Like it's really the two extremes, right? Because like they've tried to rebuild this roster, build around, add supporting cast, subtract for the last couple of years, and I feel like now they're in a position to hopefully try to make a run. Like you mentioned the Kawhi numbers, like his last 8 games, like he's around 28 points, 6.5 rebounds, and the shooting, like you mentioned, has been ridiculous. 55% from the field, 57% from 3.
Yeah. No, this guy's doing 50, 50,
no,
90.
Like this is,
it doesn't make any sense.
If Kawhi ever played,
I'm down so bad for Kawhi.
No,
man.
if Kawhi ever played 82 games, like he's an MVP front runner every year. Not that we're ever going to see him play.
But he's not that kind of guy though. And
he's not. But like
he genuinely doesn't care.
Yeah, but that's the case I think for the Clippers too. Is like you're going to have arguably the best player in a 7-game series in a lot of these matchups going up against.
And Paul
these
George
guys.
Ain't no slouch, man.
No.
Shouts to the PG shoes.
Yeah, shouts to the
busted those out yesterday.
Shouts to the Will Lose.
Great hoop run yesterday.
Great hoop run.
Alex, can you please show the impact of some of the fouls? You see that bruise on his arm? Yeah,
this was from Will.
Okay, first off, I don't know why you have so many bruises from that run yesterday. It wasn't that serious. Only one of them was for me, okay? That's only one.
Don't work this hard for 7 rebounds.
You don't understand. Alex has a reputation to live up to, man.
No, it's not good.
Chinese Rodman.
I am PJ Tucker. I read that the Sixers have won 15 games this season where PJ Tucker has gone scoreless.
That was me. That was me at the run yesterday, man.
No, man. I saw you hit that 3. Okay, so we're filing the Clippers into the Contenders category.
Yeah, for sure.
I think an interesting question too, maybe we can ask, as we touch on a few of these teams, like what do you think is an ideal first round matchup for the Clippers?
Yeah.
Like if you're the Clippers, who do you want to see in the first round? Obviously you can't
Minnesota?
Yeah. What about like a Sacramento Memphis? Like a 2-7, 3-6 type?
Sacramento's going to be interesting because I really do want to see how they respond with the pressure in the playoffs. If they slow down at all. If they do slow down, I do think that it's going to be a bad sign for them. But, I mean, I think, yeah, the Clippers are well matched for a team like Memphis as well. Like, the thing with the Clippers is all these teams is they just got to get in the top 6.
Yes.
And right now, that's very much in flux.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, let's talk about the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, they're real.
So, okay.
I mean, yeah.
So the Warriors are in 6 right now. They lost again.
They're
on
in
the road
6.
yesterday.
They have the wildest home away split that I've ever seen. They're 27-7 at home, and they're 7-25 on the road.
And not just 7-25 on the road. They've lost 7 straight.
Yeah.
Away from home. They gave up 137 points to the Thunder yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the play. There was one play, I think it was late in the first half, where like Draymond Green just kind of threw his hands up because Jordan Poole didn't find him with a pass. And it resulted in a turnover because Draymond just turned his back to the play.
I'm not surprised, man. Draymond got mad that Kevin Durant didn't pass to him one time.
But it's just the 7-25. I just don't think you can ignore that. Can you ignore that? Can you just say that, when they get into a playoff environment because of their championship pedigree, because no team has, we know their pedigree in the playoffs when they've been fully healthy, right? So, like, are you
they
okay
haven't
with that?
lost as a core
with
their main guys healthy in the playoffs ever.
No, then that's
like,
absolutely true.
I'm sorry, outside of 2016, obviously.
Well, outside of the LeBron comeback.
Yeah. And people would argue that Steph wasn't fully healthy.
Was
for
injured,
that. But whatever, man. I'm not Andy Lou. We can call him.
I think Bogut was out. So if you want to count that.
Bogut was out.
Yeah.
What was he out? Wow.
This is when Doc Rivers talks about how they never lost.
Wasn't Festus Ezeli not fully healthy for that one, man? I mean, no, but seriously though, like that team is just not. I'm gonna trust them until they like completely break it up.
Okay.
So yes, this road record sucks, but I just think that they play the most unique style of basketball in the entire league. Steph and Clay are at Steph and Clay levels. I still believe in Draymond's defense. Looney was obviously huge throughout last year's playoffs. They're not as deep as last year. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, no. Until I see them get beat, I'm always going to fear the Warriors.
Yeah, it would be a historical precedent too, because I checked and like since '95. Every team to win the West has been a top 3 seed.
Okay.
Outside of Dallas, who made the finals as a 4th seed in 2006. So basically, since '95, you've had to be like a top 4 seed. Obviously, have that home court advantage, at least in the first round, 2 rounds. Like it'll be a difficult road. Like the last team to make the finals as a bottom 4 seed was the never underestimate the heart of a champion Rockets in '95.
Saw that,
yeah. So I don't know if you knew that's the origin of never underestimate the heart of a champion.
Yeah, Rudy T said that.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, I get it, but I think if their path, they could play, might have to play like Phoenix and Denver in the first 2 rounds or something.
I think they're well matched for Denver at least.
This would be a historic run if they do it, and I'm kind of with you. I feel like the Warriors are the team that can pull it off.
Yeah, there's no reason why I'm not picking the Warriors, man. They're real. They're real as well.
Okay, so we're putting them in the contenders list. Next up, let's go with Memphis. So Memphis, here's some numbers. So the case for 26-5 at home.
Sure,
and they will be a top 3 seed barring a collapse.
26-5 at home. That's low key like the second best record in the league at home, isn't it?
Yeah. So next to Denver, right?
Next to Denver.
Yeah. Damn, Raptors almost handed both of them an L at home.
Yeah.
And when fully healthy, you can look at what that team has done. Even that brief playoff run last season. They have a lot of depth. Case against worst vibes amongst the teams in the West right now. Ja Morant's availability is in question for the rest of the season. I think if he's away from the team, if he's suspended for the rest of the season, I think this conversation kind of just ends there.
Yeah.
And they recently had the Brandon Clark season-ending injury, so Memphis right now is the 3 seed.
Yeah, I don't buy this.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. They've also lost 3 straight. They're falling a little bit. But yeah, we know the big dominant storylines with Memphis. I don't know how real they were going to be even with Ja fully healthy. I wasn't that impressed with their appearance against Minnesota last year. That was such a sloppy series.
Oh yeah,
that's one of the sloppiest playoff series I've actually seen. Actually, like because usually you get to the playoffs and like the teams are really serious, they're focused.
Yeah, they tighten up.
You don't see this like, honestly, man, it looked like wilding out on the playoff series, man. It was terrible. Looked like I thought at some point like slime was gonna come down and just shower Karl Anthony Towns. Like that series was horrible.
And then you saw them against the Warriors too. Like there was the games when like Dylan Brooks shot them out of games and stuff like that.
He like broke Gary Payton, and there was all the like the broke the rules, and then like the Memphis fans were like zooming in on like I forget who touched like Ja's knee or something, man. Jordan Poole. I was like, oh my god, that series is, again. Like I just,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I didn't
that
like anything that Memphis did in the playoffs.
was
last
that
year,
when Poole
so.
just like literally put his hand on Ja's
Yeah,
knee?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like, he just
and
accidentally
then they were
grabbed his
like, oh, actually, you know, it was like the finger kung fu from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was like, how did he shatter his knee by just touching it? Like, there's no way, man. No, I don't buy that at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Memphis fan base low key might be creeping in the top 5 toxic fan base list. I feel like I might gotta put them up there. Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, that's
number 2
I gotta
seed.
see it first. I like their team. Obviously, the number 2 seed right now.
Number 1 offense in the league.
Number
Sabonis,
1 offense is
Sabonis
great.
will put you in the bonus.
Well, I mean, look, listen. They score 121 points per game. They play fast. They got a real closer in De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Malik Monk has been, pretty good for them as well.
On paper, I think you would take
shooting.
them, but like it's all about just the experience.
I just want to know how they react to the moment.
Sure.
First and foremost,
Sure.
I like the way they play. I think Mike Brown should be in real consideration for Coach of the Year. He's brought, he
should be the favorite.
I mean, there's other guys too, but but yeah, I mean, I think for Sacramento, like you just want to see how they respond when they get to that pressured moment. But yeah, I mean, the other thing too is I don't really trust their defense at all. They gave up 118 points per game. Some of that is obviously just the fact that they play at a high pace, but I also don't have the confidence that they will just get a clutch stop.
Yeah,
especially with that roster. But yeah, I think they bought themselves some confidence. They'll have home court at least in the first and second rounds if they get that far, and so.
And listen, man, just getting there for them is I think just a remarkable story.
Sure.
Like
and of course, like, they're going to be even though they're number 2 seed, they're going to be the underdogs in a lot of these playoff series, I think.
Yeah, because 2 seed, so they'll play the team that gets out of the play-in first, and that could be Dallas, that could be the Clippers. That could be the
I
Lakers.
just don't like any of those opponents where they can really slow it down and play a half-court style of game against them. Not to say that their half-court offense isn't good; it is good. But we do know like just the pace of play really does like grind down in the playoffs. And if it's like Luka ISOs and Kyrie ISOs versus like Domantas Sabonis ISOs and De'Aaron Fox dribble handoffs and stuff like that, I'm just like, all right, well, I think I know how that series is going to go.
So we're putting the number 2 and 3 seeds in the West right now as pretenders.
Well, I mean,
we've
so
got
many
the
of these teams are
6 and 8 seed as contenders.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
I trust veterans. I'm not good.
No, I think that's fair. Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, that's real, man. Are you kidding me?
Kevin Durant, Kevin Booker. I think 188 points in the first 3 games.
Kevin Booker?
No, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker.
Wow, okay. This guy said Kevin Booker. That's
188 points combined, I think, in the first 3 games together.
Yeah, they're gonna be fine.
Like, which team in the West is going to stop them for real though?
No, it's interesting. I mean, I do worry a little bit about health with that roster. Chris Paul usually picks up an injury at some point during the playoffs. But I mean, that's a tough team to play, man.
I guess the other question, do they have enough role players to step up in the postseason for them?
So I like Okogie. I like what he's done for them this season. I mean, the Suns have a really nice system where it feels like Monty Williams is able to play whoever, and guys are able to produce in those spots. And it's uncanny. Like the other night, it was like, okay, Okogie missed a whole bunch of corner threes in the win over Dallas, and they were like, okay, we'll just plug Ish Wainwright in that spot, and then Ish made some shots.
Yeah,
or like Jock Landale will come in and play, and he'll contribute, or like Damian Lee will come in and contribute. I think that really just suggests that like they have a really good offensive like system in place. Question mark is probably Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul is like the ultimate playoff question mark, just historically.
Yeah, Chris Paul historically, obviously, like you mentioned, the health concerns.
Concerns.
KD as well.
Sometimes he just goes really quiet.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, it doesn't really matter if he goes quiet anymore. Like you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Like that's, man, imagine having Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I imagine it a lot. Some of these other teams, Dallas. We taking Dallas seriously?
Just a horrible team to watch, man. Yeah. Here's the thing. It's not like obviously
should they
Kyrie
have made the Kyrie trade. I'm already wondering.
Well, regardless, I think obviously watching Kyrie is phenomenal. Watching Luka play basketball is phenomenal. Yeah. The thing is with the Dallas Mavericks, the trick of watching them is just watch them on the highlights because the rest of the basketball game surrounding the Dallas Mavericks is just nasty to watch. Like they just play such like ice. They play more ISO than I think I've seen any team play ISO.
Yeah.
No offense to them. Like, yes, they get screens and stuff like that, but like, man, like just on ball screens and like, but it's just so much ISO.
Yeah,
and those guys are so good offensively, but it's like the rest of the team only does catch and shoot corner threes.
Yeah.
and maybe like a transition three from Tim Hardaway.
They should have just signed Jalen Brunson. Wouldn't have had to go through this whole dance. But
Yo, imagine they had Jalen Brunson right now. I think it was the deal on the table for them. I think that he probably would have signed. It was like 4 years, like 55.
oh yeah, this was the extension before the summer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and Dallas said
that
no.
would have been the best value contract in the entire league.
Yeah, and then they still would have had the assets to, if they want to make a trade for a Kyrie. And then they
Okay,
would
they
have
wouldn't have
like,
traded
the-
Kyrie.
But they
at
would
that
have had
point,
the
but-
assets to kind of flip for whoever if a superstar became.
I mean, they're
available.
still gonna be tough to. I mean, Luka has not gone out quietly in any playoff series yet.
Sure.
So I think they'll still be tough. I think I will still put them as real, but I definitely know they won't actually win the West if that's. But I think they will make it out the first round.
First round would be tough. What if they run into Phoenix?
Yeah, that's a bad matchup for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad matchups for Dallas. I
Hmm.
feel. Denver Nuggets, the number 1 seed.
I mean, they're
think
real.
it's clear.
Come on, we don't have to be rude about it. It's not going to be easy to beat that team. They have Jamal Murray healthy again, and obviously he's a very, very good clutch performer. You just need some tough shot makers. Obviously, Jokic is there as well, and he's just awesome. Aaron Gordon's great. Their health is great too. I don't trust their bench at all because when I saw it against the Raptors bench, I'm like, they're even. So I don't trust that bench, but I mean, how much do benches matter in the playoffs?
No, that's
No, they're
fair.
good. They're obviously real.
We're gonna save the Lakers for tomorrow because we got Dave McMenamin and Dan Wyke
Yeah.
joining us. Minnesota Timberwolves.
I don't-
Any interest in the Timberwolves possibly making noise in the playoffs?
I just don't know what to make of the Timberwolves, you know?
Mm.
But again, based on what I saw last season, the wet and wild wolves, I'm not good for
By
that,
the
man.
way,
I don't like seeing sloppiness in the playoffs.
Yo, the
Like there should be a
Wild Wolves is
standard.
crazy.
No, they watch their highlights. They look so silly in so many of those plays. So
I love too that
don't trust that team.
I love too that Danny Ainge fleeced them for all those draft picks for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
And then the trade deadline was like, yeah, I'll give you Mike Conley as well. Just giving them spare parts from the Jazz and being like, yeah, you guys go ahead and try to make this cute little playoff run
Yeah.
with these two guys.
Man.
Oh,
By the
man.
way, Utah going full tank mode, man.
Oh yeah,
Enjoying
respects.
Utah. So, by the way, so even after Utah made this whole big thing and they beat the Raptors twice, which I'm sure they hated,
Mm.
they're now the 13th spot in the West.
Yeah.
Impressive performance
No,
by Utah, man.
very impressive. Yeah. The other thing on the Wolves too, I was watching the game the other night. They had Chris Finch mic'd up, which
Oh,
was
word?
actually interesting because like they were able to show his interactions with the refs. So
I
like,
would love. You know what? Let's get Nick Nurse.
but that, no,
mic'd
but this
up.
is what I'm saying because like I saw the way that Chris was like approaching the refs,
Yeah.
and it was a very cordial way of like arguing. Right,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he'd
for
have
sure.
the conversation, but not in a way that was like belittling them or saying that they were missing the calls. Not saying that Nick.
I mean, that
does
could have been
that.
edited. Let's
Yes.
be real. They're probably not going to show you the amount of times
No.
where he cusses them out. And
No,
stuff.
that's fair. But like I did see those types of interactions. So I would be very curious to see, based on your comments yesterday too, about like Nick's reputation around the league with the refs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
And by the way,
how
I
those
think
interactions are
overstated.
like that.
Hated was a strong word. I meant just like the most annoying, let's just say.
Okay. Yeah, but that passes the eye test too when you watch these Raptors
Yeah.
games. Like you gotta chill out a little bit.
I hear you, man.
Anyways.
Well,
All right. Those are your contenders.
No,
and
I can't wait,
pretenders
man.
lists.
The West is very. It feels very open. You know, I wouldn't be too surprised if there are some of those weird runs, as you mentioned, where some team like Golden State in 6 makes it out.
Well, I think even the play-in is going to be pure drama.
Yeah.
Think about all the matchups there. So.
Yeah. What about the playing in the East, man? That's gonna be some drama with the
my
Toronto
God.
Raptors. No, I'm kidding. Look,
Oh my god.
we're gonna take a break. I've been your host, Will Lou. That's Alex Wong. You're listening to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. On the other side of this break, we'll bring in friend of the program, Lindsey Dunn. Welcome back to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. I'm your host, Wayne Liu. All right. Well, welcome back to the Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. I'm your host, Wayne Liu. I continue to be joined by producer and co-host Alex Wong, and we're joined in studio by friend of the program, Lindsay Dunn of City News. What's going on, Lindsay? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Happy March 8th. Yeah. Happy birthday to two of my friends.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Or shout them out? Or?
Matt and Brian, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Born
Shout
on
out to Matt and
International
Brian.
Women's Day. Yeah.
And shout out also again, we should bring up Oren's dishwasher. It's been about a month since he's had it. Why not bring it up again today?
Yeah,
Heard about it all at the last Raptors game. Pretty pumped for him.
Damn, he was talking about it last Raptors game, too? Hopefully that first load went well.
Yeah, what's wrong with Oren, man? Anyway, what's going on? What's going on, Alex?
Oh, what's up? Yeah, so Lindsay here. The Raptors 905 announced that there's going to be an all-women's broadcast tonight.
Mhm.
And Lindsay is going to be part of it as a sideline reporter. So, Lindsay, we'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about this. And I know this is your first time doing in a sideline reporting role
Wait, actually?
for the game.
Yeah, this is my first time
wow.
ever doing sidelines, getting thrown into the fun mix. I'll be with Ebony and Maya Marie, both, longtime Team Canada members. Ebony played in the WNBA, also like a champion and coached in the WNBA and coaches internationally. And yeah, it's the first time in 905 history that it'll be brought to you by an entire female broadcast crew. All of the refs will be female, and it's not like, hey, we're just throwing us out there. We all have the experience and, the work ethic and everything that went behind it to get to this point. And it's honestly just a huge moment because I can say growing up playing basketball, I never had a female ref. Not that it make a difference, and I had female coaches. I never had female play-by-play color commentators or sidelines growing up. So I think, it's a fun day to celebrate these moments. Let people, if you can see it. We've heard that all the time. And there'll be tons of in-show guests. And also it'll just be a great game tonight because the Raptors 905 taking on the Delaware Bluecoats, who have the reigning NBA dunk champion from the All-Star game, Mac McClung.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. Nice. Obviously, you're very experienced, and you've probably done like thousands of interviews in your life, and with the top name celebrities and world famous.
I've interviewed
players.
you too. That was the peak of my career. Pretty pumped still.
Yeah, it was actually just behind us right here, actually, right outside the studio. It was just
They
kind of
told
like
me
right
not to
here.
look at them in the eyes.
That's good advice, I guess. But yeah, did you get any advice? Speaking of which, from a friend of the program, Amy Otterberg.
Shout out to Amy. There is a fantastic article in the Toronto Star right now on her, and she's just one of those humans in general who lifts up other humans and wants to see them success. Because let's be real, in life and especially in this industry, there's a lot of snaky people that don't want to see other people succeed, and she is not like that.
I concur.
There
Their
are a lot.
names are.
Their names are.
I would love to say who their names are.
Like,
Oh, man.
we all know who some of them, because they rather than be excited for somebody, and I know we've all experienced it, other people are just jealous rather than like, hey, that's something, I should maybe either work harder or try another avenue to get to some goals. But Amy is a huge reason I got this. She put my name in there, has been like, Lindsay's been grinding it out here for 9 years. I've been covering this, and I haven't had the opportunity. And so thankful to Akil tonight, who's stepping to the side just to let me have it for this one moment.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm excited. This is a dream come true. I moved here 9 years ago for this. So
Wow.
it'll be excited. But yeah, Amy just said, had fun with it, be done, and don't swear. I'm like, we'll see. You guys know it's always a challenge with me in some of these things.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I see you questioning me.
No. Lindsay does have colorful language a lot of times.
I say
anyways.
Fruit Loops a lot.
Yeah.
I don't swear.
Yeah, and also just a reminder to people too, we talked about this on Monday, the WNBA game taking place in Toronto, the general tickets went on sale today, and I was checking the Ticketmaster website before we went on air, and there's just very few tickets left in the 300 level, so pretty sure that's going to be a sold out game.
Yeah, and I think it's just single tickets that are available for it as well. For fun, I went on at 10 a.m. when it was open to the general public because there was some misinformation earlier in the week. People were like, it's sold out. It was just pre-sale.
Yeah.
I was like, no, there's still time. But at 10 o'clock, there was a couple courtside seats, which were only $200. Like, this price point on this, phenomenal for people to come watch people play basketball.
We should have scooped
Hey,
this,
right?
Wow, okay.
I'm pretty sure you guys have the hookup that you could be sitting
Oh,
courtside.
the 600 level, aka the exact diametric opposite of courtside. Yeah, we'll be in the 600s.
But yeah, and I just every time I would go to click on a seat to even attempt to buy it, somebody else already claimed them. And I was so
Wow,
happy.
okay.
Honestly, I don't get emotional often, but I wanted to cry in that moment because I can't believe in my own freaking backyard, I'm going to see a WNBA game. And for so many people, especially with that price point, this is potentially the first basketball game they're going to see.
Yeah. No, it's way more accessible for sure. And, it's one of the things that we were talking about the 905. Like, that's one of the big reasons to go see the 905, in addition to the fact that you will see a lot of players that you will recognize, especially if you're a Raptor fan. Like, they have a lot of guys down there right now. Christian Coloco's there.
Ron Harper Jr.
Ron Harper's been
Jeff
down there.
Downs.
Jeff Downs down there. Delano, I think, is injured right now, but, he's often down there. Like, you see a lot of these guys. But it's just way more accessible of a price point. I think that's the thing when you look at the Raptors and just like it's Toronto. I get it. Like, it's a very expensive city and it gets more expensive by the day. But for a lot of people, like, just seeing the Raptors as a family is just like very, very hard to do. But there's still lots of great basketball, and hopefully we get the WNBA added to the mix as well. But no, it's gonna be a great event. What are you most excited for? Because I'm sure you're gonna have a big role to cover in this upcoming exhibition game.
I'm excited for everything. That is
Yeah?
such a bad
Okay,
answer. Like,
good.
honestly, this morning I was on breakfast television here in Toronto. I was talking to Sid, and I was trying not to scream at him just over the excitement I have about this game, because all I really have ever wanted in life was to cover basketball, and really with a stronghold towards the WNBA. And I'm originally from Saskatchewan. Back in the day, like, WNBA was not really popular. But now just so many people are talking about it. They're talking about the different teams. They're talking about the moves that happen in the offseason. And yesterday I spoke with Lynx player Nafisa Collier, who will be part of this exhibition game. And she says you can feel the excitement, and they're just really excited to be able to show so many more eyes just how great they are at basketball, because they just want that opportunity. Because we know for the most part, a lot of times WNBA games aren't getting any love on TV or radio, wherever it may be. This is also a huge opportunity for those players. And I'm just excited to see them ball out. I'm excited to see some threes. I'm excited to see how wild this audience and crowd is going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be electric. And I feel like it will be a playoff environment for a preseason WNBA game.
I was gonna say, is there gonna be a home team scenario? Is it gonna be like, because
Well, better be the Lynx, because you have
Yes.
Bridget Carlton, the Canadian, on the team.
Natalie Achonwa as well. It's like, no, I mean, I feel like I guess so, but it could be a situation where we're cheering for both teams or something. You know,
I think it's going to be, well, like Canadian. It's like, oh, yay. And then everybody scores another team. Oh,
Right.
congratulations on the bucket. They're just going to be excited over basketball. But I think, Natalie Achonwa, I don't believe she will be playing this. She is expecting her first child, but
Oh.
she's still on the roster. Like, I don't know when
Right.
she's actually due, but she's very much still pregnant right now. But Bridget will be in this game. And I think she's going to have a lot of hometown crowd because
Yeah.
she is from the GTA. But I think it's just, and then also on the Chicago Sky, there's a lot of players that people will just be fans of in general. So
right.
I think you're right. It's going to be a sorry and thank you. Congratulations. Great game, everybody. We're so happy. Please come back and stay here forever.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point earlier too about just, being able for a lot of these fans to be able to just see this game in person, right? And like, for young kids who've been following the WNBA, or like, they might have dreams of, playing pro one day and stuff. Like, I remember, when the Team USA women's basketball team in '96 like made their run to the gold medal. You hear so many of the current WNBA players talk about how watching them was able to just like inspire them to show that they could like go on this path and things like that. So like, obviously, just from the ticket sales, it seems like this game's going to be a huge success, and you hope that it's the first step towards bringing a WNBA team here. Because you think about bringing a WNBA team here, not only just like the role modeling for the kids who can come, like you mentioned, to like this more affordable live event experience, but I also think like it'll just create more opportunities to even like in like sports media for like women to cover WNBA here in Toronto, because you've seen the coverage grow a lot too in the last couple of years, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. And I think also with the tickets going the way that they did, I hope that this even puts more of a spark and a fire underneath the chance for a domestic league. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this right now.
Sure.
They might want to talk about the Raptors potentially winning or losing to the Clippers tonight. But the WNBA game here pretty much sold out so quickly, and there's such an excitement around it. But if you have a domestic league, there's not enough teams in the WNBA for a lot of players to, even get to that dream or think about it, because there's just not enough roster spots. There's already a domestic league. I think there's 2 domestic leagues here in Canada for men's basketball. I know they're working on like female soccer and all this other stuff, but
Yeah,
that
CBL,
opportunity
TBL, yeah.
would also create more media jobs, but also more spots for women to, be able to showcase their game and coaches and everything to flourish. So I know that's like also a pipeline dream, but let's just keep putting it out there and see what happens.
No, I think we can approach this on all fronts. I really do. I think there's just like clearly there's a huge appetite for basketball in Toronto, and I think that
Across Canada.
So
huge,
if they put WNBA here, will they play in Toronto, or is it going to be a situation with like the 905? Because I really hope it's not that. No offense to Mississauga, but like it's hard to get out
Mississauga,
I'm trying to get to the Hershey Center, man. I'm sorry, it's so far.
Also known as the Paramount Fine Food Center
I know,
now, but
come on. If you grew up in Toronto, that's the Hershey Center.
I know. I would hope that it's in Toronto. I think the
Yeah.
push would be for it's in Toronto. There's so many rumors about where it could be and
Yeah.
what organizations are potentially a part of this that what I keep hearing is it would be in Toronto. Because you're right, location is everything. 'Cause
Yeah, of
even
course.
with the Toronto Six, for like the women's hockey team and the PHF, they're pretty north of Toronto. A lot of people struggle to go watch these games and they want to watch them, but location, which like earlier you mentioned, there's so many people to watch on the 905, but for those in Toronto or east of Toronto, that's too far of a commute for them.
Fair.
Yeah.
So
No, I think.
here's hoping WNBA team, Scotiabank Arena, great access for people that would take, you
Yeah,
know.
but actually though,
No, I think Scotia would make sense too, because based on when the WNBA's schedule is, I think scheduling wise, they should be able to find the dates
Yeah, May's
to actually play in the
preseason,
arena, right?
especially
Yeah.
this year for the Raptors because they won't
Oh,
be making
yeah,
that.
come on,
I don't
Lindsay.
think. I don't think there's
Hey, I'm
gonna
a
be.
realist.
Oh man.
I don't think
June's
there's
looking
gonna be
pretty
much of
open
a-
as well as late
when they put the
May.
WNBA here, you're going to be living at Scotiabank Arena.
I already am, so I can't wait to do that even
Yeah.
more.
No, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So, Lindsay, we were chatting in the first segment, going through some of the teams in the Western Conference, you know, especially because the Raptors are playing the Clippers tonight. So want to hear from you too. We were trying to sort out who are the contenders and pretenders in the West. When you look at the West right now, who do you have as the favorite?
I want to first of all, who did you say? And please tell me in the East. Did you say the Raptors are pretenders?
Oh,
we
didn't
didn't
do
the
the
East,
East.
and I
I
think
was
it's
like,
been.
what?
I think it's been clear what the Raptors' status is for a while now. So
Ah, man.
yeah.
What if they
So
win against
sorry.
the Clippers tonight, man? It could be the
What
win of the
if
season.
when you look at this, do you actually think they're going to make a deep run in the playoffs and go to the finals? Truthfully, and I don't mean hate
Uh,
to come your way.
No, I mean, I think we can all be realistic. You know, what I realized
Henry
yesterday.
I've already started the parade route for every team here.
Oh man. Well, we know what the parade route would be for Toronto with the Raptors. I'm
8
not sure for
hours.
the rest of them. I haven't seen one of those in a while. But
Mm.
actually, the Argos did have that parade. I think you covered that, didn't you? It was
Yeah.
like an event at
It
the
was in
Jurassic
front
Park.
of the
Oh,
yeah,
at Maple
Jurassic-
Leaf Square.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
Nice.
in that
Mm.
area. We'll skim over that because the outcome, like the turnout, wasn't the best. But
Right.
congratulations to them.
Shouts out to the Argos. A couple of block punts to secure the win there. I remember watching that at Poker Night once. No, but I think with the Raptors, like I realized the other day that the Raptors have had 3 0 of 10 shooting starts on the season already. 3.
Mm.
They obviously had it most recently in the win against Washington. No, in the
Mm.
loss against Washington. In the win, they also started like 0 for like 7 or something, but not 0 for 10. Okay,
Mm.
they had that. There was a game where they played the Hawks where they're 0 14, and then of course that Bucks game, which is just so historic. And so I think that like there's obviously way too much evidence that the Raptors are just not together enough.
You
But
guys did bring up like just when you talk about pretenders and all this
Sure,
other.
yeah.
It's just I did hear earlier about chemistry, and you were talking about the Clippers' chemistry and the
Yeah.
and kind of not being there, but like that's totally the case with the Raptors all season long, and we've spoke about it over and over and
Yeah.
over again how that is an issue because like the 2019 Raptors, how the chemistry worked around Kawhi, and you're like, where is there any chemistry around any player right now besides some fun sometimes happening between Precious and Chris, or sometimes Pirtle and Fred? It all depends, and it's
Yeah.
not consistent enough. But Clippers, I love the drama always out of LA. And I know people
yeah.
like they hate the Lakers that they'll be playing next. It's just there's always so much drama. And I love watching what's going to happen with Westbrook. Like, what is going on there? And is he actually going to make a difference? And no Storm and Norman Powell tonight.
yeah, that's a relief. But they also have so much depth. It's just like
I know,
it
you're like,
doesn't even
"Oh,
matter.
no,
Like,
it's not
oh
going."
no, wow, I guess we'll just play more Eric Gordon or like I don't know. They don't even. They
This
have
last time they played, they did such a bad job. And I know this is an NBA problem of defending the 3.
yeah.
It's like they more than doubled what the Raptors made from beyond the arc the last time they played in December. And you're like, oh, I don't know if the adding of, Pirtle and Will is really going to stop that. Just make your own threes.
No, I mean, at least now we can play pick and roll better. So I feel like
Yeah.
our offense isn't as stagnant as some of those other games where it's just like, because look, sometimes you're going to go 0 for 10 when you're only shooting jump shots and stuff like that, right? And like the fact that you had that option now to play Fred with Jakob in the pick and roll, I'm just like, I haven't seen like the Raptors successfully execute pick and rolls for like most of the season. And then recently, it's like 3 times a game, Fred will hook up Yak with a layup, and then Pascal will hook up Yak with like 2 layups, and then Yak will get a couple of putbacks, and then Scotty will get into the mix, and it's like, okay, at least we have that consistency. But
still a lot of self.
why do we have to talk about the Raptors?
Sorry,
today?
we can talk about the Sacramento Kings.
I'd much rather talk about the Kings. Baby.
Sacramento Kings for life.
Oh man.
No, I was thinking too. Like, has a single Raptor from that championship run gone on to a better career elsewhere since leaving?
Ooh, see, that's a good topic.
So, Kawhi, you can say what you want, but like he hasn't won a championship.
No, he hasn't
in
reached
LA,
the same highs. Let's be
right?
honest.
And the Clippers haven't been able to replicate
Okay.
that low management strategy that was so successful for the Raptors.
Kyle is like
Kyle's
like a hated member of the Heat.
He
right
Kyle's
is
now,
not
which-
even
hated.
Kyle's not even with the team right now,
No.
right?
That's
Because he's got knee issues.
They probably like Amy more than they like
And-
Kyle.
Yeah.
Danny
So-
Green is going from team to team.
So
to
Danny
team
won
in
a
row.
title
Yeah, he
in LA,
did.
but he was also hated during the bubble.
Yeah, I remember
In
when
the
people
finals?
photoshopped his jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
they got to wear their own slogans
Oh,
on the
yeah.
jerseys, and
Yes.
anyway, yeah.
That-
We could say
Yeah.
Norman Powell, like kind of, not really. No, I just
Yeah.
really have such a soft spot for Norm. I was just
No,
trying
but
to
I
put it
think-
out there. I'm like,
man.
right now this season, he's not doing terrible, but it's
No,
just like
no.
his
No, Norman's
chances
played
might.
well.
He's
Norman's
played
played
well,
well.
but you're right. A lot of them that have went on from his team.
Surge, Surge is not with the
On
team
that
right
team.
now.
Is Serge on any team?
No,
No,
Is he gonna
no,
get picked?
which
He
to
hasn't
me
been
is
picked up?
wild. I'm like, you have what's his face, Goran getting picked up, and then you have
Right.
Surge just.
I hate that higher ambitions actually came true. This is so
Oh,
tough.
I know. I love that was one part that I loved going on social media was seeing people's reaction
Yeah.
to him actually getting this. Like, oh, this is
But that's why the
gotta wait to boo
Raptors,
him.
the Raptors gotta get out of the play-in and play Milwaukee in the first round, just so
Oh.
fans can pay $3,000 to boo Goran in Game 3.
Yeah.
So that
and,
should
and 4.
that's our ambitions for this
Oh,
year.
I would actually pay just to watch.
But yeah,
that.
man.
Surge is
Goran's gonna
on.
do the shushing meme from the bench.
Oh, man.
Oh,
He's
I'm
gonna
gonna. I
shush
will.
us
I
from
will
the-
flip a table. I don't have the strength to do that, but I will try. if
He's
that
not even gonna be
happens.
dressed for the game. He's gonna be shushing us in a suit.
Damn. Yeah, but no, but I was just wondering, because like a lot of these players.
Yeah, Mark went to Europe.
Yeah, Mark, went to
Actually, I
LA
think
and then
Mark,
went to
I
Europe.
think Mark had the best post Raptors career because I think he's just chilling.
He's
with
just
his club.
chilling. But I think it's just to say, like, the Raptors, I mean, outside of Kawhi, cut ties with those players at the right time. If you look at it in retrospect.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
But,
Hmm.
who really wins when Kawhi didn't stay
All right, man.
and continue the championship run?
No
Don't-
Kawhi and dine.
We have-
Anyways.
we have ads.
Yeah, we've got, and now it's time for Between the Lines, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. The Toronto Raptors in LA to take on the Clippers
Huh.
tonight. Will Barton just reported is questionable with a non-COVID illness. And as Lindsay mentioned, Norman Powell is out for the Clippers. Clippers are 2.5-point favorites
That's it,
on the road. Will,
man.
is that low too?
I'm surprised. Aren't you a little bit surprised? I mean, I know the Raptors played Denver really well, and they had a great game plan, and they executed for long stretches of the game, and they probably should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, I think this betting line might be just based on looking at just the overall body of work of both teams, right?
Is there an over under on Nick getting a tech?
oh man,
No.
Uh,
Or Scotty, don't want to go there.
depends on the ref.
honestly, Lindsay, I do hope that the Raptors took a lesson from that, which is that they're just not strong enough as a team to give away technical fouls.
Mhm.
So the complaining just has to stop in general.
Yeah, it's a soap opera a lot of the times watching it.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes entertainment just for the memes that come out after. But
Sure,
yeah,
yeah.
but watching that game and then just seeing some of the actions that happen, you're like, what are you thinking?
Right. No,
Right.
I feel like the team just needs every point. So
They do, because they wouldn't have been in that situation if they, got it to that 10, 12, 13-point advancement instead of being, they couldn't get it over 8 or 7-point
Yeah.
lead. And then you're like, hey, well, it came down to the end again and this happened.
right. That's a lot of Raptors games this season. But yeah, definitely less complaining, I hope, for this game.
Okay.
Maybe a nice little firm handshake between Nick and the refs before the game. Just like,
Hope
get
you
out-
have a great day. Thanks for being here.
Just change the
We're
approach,
doing
change
it.
the vibe. Yeah.
Maybe offer them like a gift basket. No, that's
No, I
private.
remember hearing like Nick talk about this in the offseason where he was like, you know, what we do is we research the refs and we find out their like favorite movies and favorite foods, and then we can
And then we
drop
just
these
yell
little
at them for
nuggets.
48 minutes
And then Nick's like, I'm a
with
tomato.
no regard for human
I'm
life.
gonna scream
Oh
at
my
you
God.
about how you love
I'm a
Saving
tomato.
Private Ryan or something. Anyway, Raptors.
Clippers 2.5.
Raptors have not played the Clippers well recently. Let's just be honest. Like
Yes.
since Kawhi's gone there, the Raptors have had a really hard
Isn't
time.
Kawhi 5-0 playing against the Raptors when he actually
He
is
sure
in the lineup?
is. Yep.
Oh, fun times, and he's listed as playing tonight. Yeah.
Well, I think that might be it.
So Clippers is the pick?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the Clippers are the pick.
Let's go with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Minus 2.5. That was Between the Lines, brought to you by Bet Rivers. It's a whole new game. Lindsay, thank you for joining us.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you. A little
Good luck
terrified.
tonight.
Anyway, that does it for us today. I've been your host, Willu, and you've been listening to The Raptors Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network. Make sure you find The Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe, and please rate and review the show. A reminder, we're streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and airing live on Sportsnet 360, Monday to Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. Thanks once again to Lindsay Dunn, producer and co-host Alex Wong, our board producer Derek Brandale, and Jennifer Rolnick for helping with the YouTube stream. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.